to Loveable Me here on YouTube. I took a very long break from YouTube as there was a lot going on in the cosmos, and I was dreaming of the eclipses that happened in September and the Equinox, and it was just really time to sort of take a break from social media and let things happen and process and cleanse and clear. And now here I am back on YouTube, and I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, and we will have the shell. I'm going to talk a little bit about the shell oracle so far and what's been coming through. I've been really looking forward to doing this video, and it just is not the right time yet, and she seems to be taking her time, the shell oracle and the nature spirits and whatnot. So I'm going to bring you a cosmos update and what's going on right now, and what you can expect, what's been happening, what's been taking place, and thoughts and feelings that we're having, and overcoming a lot of struggle and strife. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing that wants to be discussed is change. There is a lot of change happening. We have seen a lot of corruption over the past few years, and a lot of these uprisings, unfairness and struggle and strife and poverty. And sometimes these things have to be overcome, and we can't just wish them away. If there is corruption around you, or, you know, the word corrupt, and how we're replaying this corruption energy, and we don't really want to put ourselves into corrupt frequencies or something that is endorsing corruption in the world. And this is where your force field comes in. So your force field is a part of your aura. And when we are engaged in our own frequency and our own energies and thoughts and feelings, there is a buffer, because we're focusing on our frequency and not something outside ourselves that is negative, that is corrupt, that is unjust, and that is unfair. If it's not happening to you directly, the best thing that you can do is start cultivating peace, well-being, and happiness in your life, and overcome whatever it is that is making you feel disempowered, disharmonious, and unhappy. And I think it can feel like a very trying time right now on the earth, because your force field can magnify positivity, or it can let in external frequencies that affect your well-being, that affect your quality of life and how you're experiencing the earth. My free meditation, that is up on my website will be back up and available shortly. You can download this meditation for free, and it will help you build your force field and come back to your frequency. Because what happens when a lot of people aren't self-aware, or a lot of people aren't connected into their intuition and the intuitive realms, that's when you can get overcome by negativity, depression, anxiety, that things aren't going to change, the earth is really horrible. And there's a big focus here on the Cosmos update with boundaries, and not allowing unjust frequencies into your realms. And if you do not want to, okay, so, and also what's coming through is, what are you paying tribute to? Are you paying tribute to something that needs to finish? Are you finish off? Are you paying tribute to a way of life, or a consciousness, or or are you paying tribute to narcissism? Are you paying tribute to, I am disempowered, someone help me? What are you paying? Let me just look up tribute and paying tribute. What are you paying tribute to? Paying tribute to praise something or something. Then the minister paid tribute to the men who thought the blaze. Okay, so when you pay homage to something, you're paying tribute to something, you are exonerating it. So are you paying tribute to war? Are you paying tribute to suffering? Are you paying tribute to my life is absolutely horrible? That is what you are paying tribute to, as in you are exonerating, you are feeding, you are creating. Are you paying tribute to love, beauty, harmony, and peace? Are you willingly paying tribute to something that you don't want on the earth anymore? So yeah, boundaries is a really, really big thing right now, and not taking on other people's depression, not taking on other people's issues, not taking on other people's frequencies, or and what can happen when you have really strong boundaries in a force field is that people feel rejected. So say if someone has a lot of health issues, or they've got very poor mental well-being or mental health, and they decide to come in and try and interfere in your life, they're not minding their own business. When you sort of ignore someone, that is a boundary in itself, ignoring someone and putting that boundary there. I mean, no, I'm not getting involved in this. This isn't you're not being respectful of me in my space. I don't want to take on your disempowerment or your unhealthy habits, or anything like that. And you've got to it feels like when you're not letting someone else's energy in, they feel rejected, and then they get very, very pissy and upset that they're not getting whatever it is. Was it attention? Was it a look? Was it a conversation? Or was it money? Or whatever it was that they were wanting and they didn't get. There is usually not something that you want to be involved with, but they want to be involved with you, but it's not something that you want to engage with. Okay? If you don't want to engage with that, if you don't want to exonerate it or welcome it into your life, you need to put a boundary or a force field there. Okay. Now what else have I got? Yes, corruption in China, India. It's also really important right now to take some breathing space. Okay, so I've gone into the corruption, and what are you paying homage to? What are you exonerating? What are you inviting? And because if you do not have that force field or that boundary there, guess what? That's what your earth experience is going to be. So you need to really decipher where you're putting your time, your energy, and focus, and what you want to see blossom here on the earth. What are you helping with? What are you creating? And what are you? Okay. So the next thing is, taking some breathing space if you need to is very important. If there are volatile energies, if there are volatile people around you, surrounding you, it is important to take some space and to take a breather from external influences that are making you not feel positive and uplifted. If you feel stuck, irritated. Okay, so rejection. Okay, so when you reject someone's frequency, or a frequency or something that's happening outside of you, and you say, no, thank you, I'm going this way, is what can happen is you can be incarnated, you can just sort of go off onto tangents that are not actually a part of your soul pathway. And you can get pulled into this way and that way and this way and that, and become a part of something that you never should have been a part of in the first place. And a big thing in learning to the rejection and the suffering of learning to say no to that is to be okay with people not liking you, and to be okay with a little bit of conflict, and to navigate that with maturity, and to understand if you don't want to take on the suffering, then you need to put a boundary there, and you need to not allow it to be exonerated in your energy field, and your force field grows stronger every time you say no thank you, or every time you walk away from a conflict, every time you're like, actually, I don't want to live my life in suffering. I want to connect, and I want to hear, and I want to, yeah. Okay, so if you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to breathe. Because I think definitely there is this light coming in, and it was with the equinox. There is a second bloom, a second reset happening right now from all that played out with the coronavirus and everything else. If you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, anxious, you need to take a breather. You need to take some space, then go and do that. Don't wait for someone to tell you to take a break. Really deep breathing exercises are free. If you are feeling absolutely terrible and horrible right now, your energy body will be trying to be, it feels uncomfortable because when this light comes through, it doesn't matter who you are, it comes through and it feels suffocating, it feels overwhelming. There's all this negativity within you. You may be getting frustrated, depressed, annoyed. Deep breathing, if you just do really deep and do that for 10 breaths in the morning, just to reset yourself. And so when I say there's a second bloom and a second reset, your energy is trying to not want to suffer and be negative and feel horrible anymore. So you have to help yourself here, and there's very good techniques out there that are free. Yoga stretches, meditation, really, really deep breathing, just to come back to your body and not that external suffering and negativity that could be influencing how you're feeling. Oh yeah, so okay, let's move on to the equinox. So the equinox happened on the 22nd of September, and we also had 21st of September, and we also had like this window of eclipses. It was intense. And what happened for me personally was I really had to just sort of wait and allow it and wait it out. And sometimes what happens if you're feeling like you can't move forward with anything, or things aren't clicking into place, you're not receiving intuitive guidance as to what you need to do, or you just feel frustrated and annoyed, you just need to wait. You need to wait it out, and you need to be patient, and it is sometimes what happens in our life paths is that we are in certain circumstances, or we're in certain living situations or jobs that we're not enjoying, but we can't see a way out, or we can't figure out how to make things better. And that's where high levels of frustration happen, because we can't see it, and it feels disempowering, and there's no way out. But what is really happening is you're being asked to wait it out and just be patient and wait for that clarity and that frequent moving to begin happening again. So it feels like right now there's no point in rushing or pushing anything. It can feel very frustrating, especially if you're wanting to move countries, or you want a different job, or you're just over your country or the township, and it is just like, this is so negative and draining, I don't know what to do. You've got to wait. Okay, there's a lot happening. So with the equinox, it can feel these equinoxes and that eclipse, the gateways that happen, they're intense, and this one was pretty intense in it because I was dreaming of Atlantis the last 4 years. These are no joke, these gateways, and when you become informed about when these gateways are happening, you can better understand what you're feeling. And this is a really big point of Love Be YouTube, is to transmit what's coming through my dreams so you can understand what's going on from a higher perspective, and not because we're trying to move out of suffering. So it's so, oh my God, for many of us souls who have been here for so long, it's time now to leave the suffering. But some people are just like, what do you mean? Life is suffering. It's not. We're trying to evolve into that higher state of play, joy, and if things are feeling very mercilessness, is that the right word? Mercilessness? The mercilessness, meaning means the quality of being without mercy, showing no pity, kindness, or compassion. If things are, okay, let me just read that out again. Mercilessness means the quality of being without mercy, showing no pity, kindness, or compassion. You can show and feel those things without taking it on, without taking on suffering and negativity from other people. Okay, and it may feel like there's been a lot of mercilessness, and just, I know for myself, I experienced a few things and I thought, this is so unjust, this is so unfair. And it's sort of like at some point you do have to let go of those feelings and not let it take over your entire life path and your entire life cycles, your entire life experience. For many of us right now, if you're in your mid-30s, we are finishing off actually a lot of people were finishing off a massive life cycle. I think it started in 2018. 2018. Before this massive 2018. Yeah, I think 2018 was when I started journeying about. I had this massive clairvoyant awakening. I just started dreaming of other realms and what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. And it's been a very trying time for a lot of people the last 6-7 years. They haven't been nice. They've been mercilessness, with those lockdowns, the force of the vaccinations. And the equinox brings it as sort of clearing that feeling, those frequencies and those feelings. So you could still be feeling that, but you're like, I want more, but you just gotta take a break and breathe. And it is intense on the energy body sometimes, and it's overwhelming, because if there's a lot going on outside of you, but you're feeling all the stuff, you really need to learn how to combat it and calm yourself, calm the farm. Okay. Okay, I've gotten all of that out of the way now. Now let me take a breath. The second bloom and the second season. So when I talk about the second bloom and the second season of life, that's because when we finish these amazing life cycles that are really, even myself, I'm tired of this. The equinox brings a second bloom. And you know how when someone who really, I feel like, had a second bloom was Pam Anderson. And I just admire her, and I think she's fabulous. And, as we go through these cycles of life and you're aging, you get second blooms. And it doesn't matter what age you are, the second blooms can happen at any age. So if you are feeling a second bloom now, it's time to shine. And it is sort of releasing outdated past life, the stuff that we just don't need. In the equinox that happened, and the equinox is still processing itself, I think, is what I'm trying to say here. And we're still processing with the equinox, and it feels like lots of releasing going on in the body and calming it down so your body can just release. Sometimes we have these crying spells, and we get angry at someone or a partner, and we're actually just releasing outdated emotions that don't need to be there anymore. So, the equinox it feels really nice. It feels fresh. It feels very connected into a higher frequency. Okay, we're done with that. The second bloom of life. That is a big theme. That is a big thing, the second bloom of life right now. And so what happens with these second blooms of life is that we almost get like redirected. And then it's like, oh my God, I'm having a kid. Oh my God, I did not expect that. But it's actually a really gorgeous thing. But I think that the key here with the second bloom is to step out of the suffering. That's why I talked about all that suffering just then. And you want to invite in that second bloom frequency from the equinox, which is light, it's ease, it's satisfying, it's fulfillment, it's simplicity. Simplicity is a really big one with this equinox and the second bloom. Simple habits, simple routines, simplicity, and not getting too caught up in this horrendous mind that can sometimes just make life a little bit trying the mind. Okay. With the second bloom that's happening in our cosmos, there's a lot of things. I've been dreaming of things. This is a little bit of like an oracle trend report as well. It feels, and I've talked about a Renaissance revival before, but it's actually starting to happen, and I can see it. The cosmos is changing. I think it just depends what realm you're focusing on and where, like, in what you're sort of exonerating right now. With, oh my god, Europe? Okay, so I've seen some things. And when I start feeling really influenced creatively, it's because something's happening in the cosmos and we're getting influenced. And you know how we have, this is more positive, when we have these creative eras that happen, it's because they're starting to happen in the cosmos and they're inspiring us, and this feels very divine, feminine, goddess frequency. And I saw something very interesting with the Dior Cruise 2026, Christian Dior Cruise 2026, is there is a massive influx of this Marie Antoinette Regency, feminine corsets, fashion forward, very, very feminine, making its way back into our cosmos. And a lot of the artists, the designers, the creatives, the intuitives are going to be at the leading forefront of this movement or this lifestyle that's happening. You know, it is I'm going to grow my veggies, I'm going to have a party, I'm going to have a dinner party, and it is that lightness, it's that easiness, and it is the artists and the designers you want to look at for what's happening in our cosmos, because what happens when they start feeling the influx and then they start creating with it very subconsciously, because usually the artists and the creatives, they're very open. And they're very open spiritually, and a lot of their inspirations come from their own intuition and their imagination. The imagination is a very key factor here with the second bloom, your imagination. Reading fiction books is really good to get your imagination going. Yeah, okay, I talked about that, creative eras. And it is, I think the Dior Cruise, it was based on the Italian Renaissance, but then I started dreaming of corsets. I started dreaming of in that Marie Antoinette movie, and it's been coming in that and the Marie and the Sofia Coppola designs, the set designs of the Marie Antoinette movie that she did, and those color palettes and the femininity and being a mother, and it's really the women here that are going to be start inspiring this this lifestyle. And when just, you know how I think that happens quite often where they're like after war, there's these fashion resurgences and people want to party and it's releasing and they want to enjoy themselves again. And I really feel like that's what happens at the equinox, that we're processing. We want to enjoy ourselves again. We want to bake a cake and maybe kiss our beloved and make some art and just enjoy the process and make it really simple. Okay, so I'm actually really excited for that because I've never sewn a corset before, but I want to try making a corset. And I am feeling very inspired. You know, a lot of that Renaissance art was very heavily influenced by nature. And that this when I do the shell oracle, I'm going to bring in some fine arts. I'm going to talk about the nature spirits with that, because when these artists incarnate from eras gone by, a lot of the times their art is just so timeless, and they may not have made a lot of money in their lifetime, but in this life now, we can let go of the suffering artist and the suffering woman, and we can celebrate artistry again, I think. And I really do feel, Okay, let me just move into diet, meditation, routine, and the mind. If you're feeling really heavy, it is very wise to start clearing out dairy and meat from your diet, especially if you are a woman and if you are feeling depressed. If you are eating white bread and cheese and then microwaving it and calling it your breakfast, you are not good in your mind. Your diet is going to be affecting the quality of your mind and your thoughts. So if your mind and your body is feeling really heavy, you need to do some serious life edits and change your diet and lifestyle. Because I did this because there's all this gorgeous energy coming through, it affects our heavy energy bodies. I think that we don't, and I did this a few years ago, that we don't want these big corporations, these sugary corporations anymore. We're not about it. Our lifestyle and the way we want to live on the earth is changing, and we don't want these mass-produced dairy farms anymore. We're not interested in how that's done, and it's changing. And so all these businesses, it's sort of like out of whack, because that's what we eat, especially here in New Zealand. They're very, very set in their ways. The dairy industry, and this is how we are, and we don't do this. And there's a lot of resistance to changing the diet and the lifestyle, because it's just, but this is the way that we are on the earth. And those how spraying chemicals over the fruit and veggies, we don't want that. A lot of us are feeling, especially around the coronavirus, we want a lighter lifestyle. Even in the older generation, I've seen, I'm not resonating with McDonald's anymore. I'm not resonating with the dairy anymore. It doesn't make me feel good in my body. You can feel it because our energies are changing. It doesn't feel good anymore to eat like that. That's because there's more light coming in, and we're changing. We're changing. So yeah, you want to, and with the dairy, and it's very old. It's really, to be drinking dairy from milk from cows that are farmed like that, and then drinking it, and it does things to your mind and your frequency, and it's not healthy spiritually to be eating like that if you are struggling. So I'd take a really good look at your diet, and see where you need to change that. It takes a good 8 weeks to see a change happen. Yeah, and it's very old, living like that and being very heavy and dense and negative. It's a very old way of living on the earth. And I'm just going to say that meditation is a very good technique to start implementing in your life. It just helps stabilize the mind. And if you feel like your emotions are taking control, or you're just very up and down all the time, it'll be a big part of your diet. I'm going to actually have a lot of herbal stuff come out to help with that, especially with women and our emotions and our mood swings and our sense of stability within spiritually. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, and the last of this video, processing struggle. Processing struggle. Wait a minute, that's not what I'm talking about. We're about delusion. That's what I'm going to talk about, delusion. Okay, so deluded. Delusion and deluded. Let's see what it deluded meaning. Okay, so deluded means believing something that is not true. I've been dreaming of a lot of this as well, the delusional thinking. Okay, so let me give you an example. You see a man online who looks like he's got a lot of money, he's got the hot bod, he's got a lot of following. And a woman decides that she's going to get hit, that she wants to have his baby, and then they're going to live happily ever after, but she wants money from him. I'm going to get myself pregnant with him, and then we're going to live happily ever, but I'm just going to live off his money, right? That's delusional thinking, because what this woman has done is she's looked at this man online, not seen him as a person. She's only seeing 10% of this man's life and him as a person. She doesn't know his personality. All she's done is like, he's the man for me, but I'm going to sneakily get him pregnant. So I'm going to sneakily have a child with him, and then we get access to his money. That is delusional thinking, that you are going to get that man's money just because you had a kid with him. That is not how a relationship works. There's a lot of wake-up calls, delusion, delusion, delusion. There are people that are very, very deluded out there, and they are not a part of the actual reality. I don't know what to say, like reality, that life reality. Deluded. Like, making, like, believe, I've had my run-in with a lot of deluded people personally, and then I've had to sit there and let stuff come through my dreams and through my spiritual guidance. Delusion happens when you do not want to take self-responsibility for your life. It is someone else. It is my grown-up adult child's fault as to why my relationship and my marriage is terrible. That's delusional thinking. And how does delusion happen? Delusion happens when I think people take on, and this is where your force field comes in. If you are dealing with deluded individuals, you need to have very, very firm boundaries. And you need to not take on the stories they're telling you of you. Because what happens when you come, let's say you don't have a force field, and you come into contact with a deluded individual, and what happens is when this energy is projected into your field, you start taking on those delusions, and they want you. They want you to believe and to make the choices they want you to make with that delusion. They will tell fibs and lies. No sense of propriety or manners. They will tell fibs and lies about what's going on and what they really, really feel. This is happening. I'm having a kid with this man. I'm getting his money. And then this, and if you say, actually, no, that's not, your force field will be like, that's not happening. If you don't have a force field, guess what? You're going to think, yeah, I'll have a kid with you and I'll give you money. But you don't want to give her money. So where's your force field and the delusional thinking of, okay. This delusional thinking comes from thinking that things are just going to get handed to you because you say so. Delusional thinking is, I can marry this guy and then I don't have to put in any effort. Like there's like a big misconception with a lot of people right now that they don't need to put in the time and effort to get the results that they want. Right? So that's real reality. If you are manifesting, if you are creating a new life, there's going to be some time, there's going to be some effort, and there's going to be some challenge. And if people don't want to face those challenges, if people don't want to face the real world reality, they're going to delude reality. So they don't have to do any of that. I mean, I think you can sort of see this in the Delulu individuals. Is it called Delulu these days? Of Delulu individuals who think they can just marry a man with like a finance man. And then, so you see those trends going on, those reels. And that's going to be it. But that's not how a relationship works. And that's not how soul connections work. That's not how business works. That's not how finances work. And it is just, I think a big key thing here is, what is this person offering you? And what the delusional thinking is such a big thing right now, I think. But I can just, I can just stay here and things will just happen without me putting in any effort. I can just blah, 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 and it is. Okay. I think I'm finished there with this video, Oracle video. Please remember that Consult the Oracle is open now. And you can come and consult me and ask some questions. I'm very excited. I'm going to be opening maybe a type of apothecary next year online. And I'm really looking forward to opening up some herbal products and developing some skincare as well. I dream of recipes all the time. And I just want to say, if you're on a budget right now, do you know that it's a very good life skill to have? And with food and also the food shortages that are going to come in, you can learn a lot about your creativity and your intuitive thinking when you have very little. So for me, I was on a very tight budget for a while, and I